my partner's been very ill. He had a brain tumour and then had a stroke between Christmas and New Year. He was in a hospital, I won't mention which one, but he was moved at 6 a.m. between wards. When he was moved, there was 2 porters that helped him move, and they offered to pack up all his stuff, which included a set of AirPods, Apple AirPods. He woke up the next day in a different ward, realised they were missing. He turned on the Find My Apple device and saw that they were in another hospital, and then later on saw that they were in a residential address. Well, you can't tell it. It's a residential street. You can't tell the actual number of the house in a Romford. So he assumed that one of the porters had stolen them. He made a complaint to the hospital. They have a complaints procedure. He also complained to the police. Effectively, without going into it all, the hospital have kind of washed their hands of it. They said that they can't investigate it any further. They're not willing to. There isn't enough evidence. The ward won't tell them what porters were on that time, and they're not prepared to cross-reference it with the porter's home address. And the police are not interested. So my question to you is this something that we could take to the small claims court? Does the hospital have a duty of care to look after him? And I know that it's balance of probabilities at a small claims court, I understand, rather than beyond reasonable doubt. So I was just wondering if that's an avenue
Tim,
we
I'm
could
just
pursue.
going to cut you short. Is your question, can you sue the hospital because you think the porter stole the AirPods?
Correct.
Yeah, okay. First of all, I'm really sorry to hear about your partner. Is he recovering?
No, sort of. I mean, he's got cancer, and it's a big drama. So it's not something that's going to recover from quickly.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to comment on what priorities should be. You obviously are fully cognizant of that. The issue isn't going to be. The issue is going to be whether you can prove that the porter stole it. Because if you can prove the porter stole it, on balance of probabilities, I think the hospital will probably be vicariously liable. Were they AirPods or AirPod Pros?
I think they're AirPod Pros.
So £220-ish?
That sort of price,
Yeah,
yes.
okay. You need to show on balance of probabilities the porter stole it. At the moment, you are nowhere close to proving that. Because the fact that it's ended up in a residential address, well, you don't know either of the porters lived there. What you can do if you wanted to be a bit of a detective is take your partner's phone to that street in Romford, and as soon as you get close, I'm sure you know, Find My device will actually start triggering, once you get within a certain radius, will start just triggering a little arrow, and you can use that to hone in almost like a compass on exactly where it is. So that's a way of identifying the house, and that might help you with a claim against the hospital if it turns out that a porter does live at that hospital, at that address rather. But at the moment, the mere fact it's ended up in a house in Romford is nowhere close to proving that it was one of the porters. Now, in theory, you could go and get a court order compelling the hospital to disclose the porter's home address if you have a credible case that it was the porter that stole it. But that's putting the cart before the horse, because you can't prove it was the porter that stole it. It would also cost you many, many hundreds, if not a couple of £1,000s to make that court application, because although the amount of money is less than the 10,000 small claims limit, that sort of application can't be made as part of the small claims process.
Right.
Tim, honestly, my advice is to drop it, or go there with the iPhone, work out exactly where house it is and knock on the door, perhaps with the police present. That's up to you.